Hello and welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on Dungeons and Patterns. It's a role-playing game we're trying to adapt to run online. We're using Elm for the technology, and we've made a little progress. So what I want to focus on today is a couple things. One is types, and the other is navigation. And I'll just talk through types. I remember when we started creating like the dungeon, we had the room name and the image and whatever else is in there. That structure is only going to grow. And already I'm worried that just using bare string for these types, I got a string. Is that the room name? Is it the image name? Is it some other thing? We need to clarify that. So I think it'd be good to put some types on these things early on before we get too much built around them. And then navigation, like many dungeons, there's a path and there's a bunch of rooms connected, and we're trying to get it so you can move between the rooms. All right, and then there's a second level. So we will pick up with that. Let's see if I can get this back. Well, unfortunately, I had some trouble with Brew and ended up blowing it all away, and I'm finding all the dependencies that I have not have come to rely on, including Watch. So no Chiron today. All right, so here's the version that was running. We at least get the picture for the current room and some buttons to say the neighboring rooms. Right now they just put the room names on them. I would like these to be, well, I think I want little thumbnail images of the rooms that you know about. And maybe they need a border and, but if you've been in this room here and you're in another room next to it and you can go back to it, I'd like to have a little button that has a little picture of this on it, some sort of thumbnail, and maybe just focused on the critical part. There's a nice UI thing. It's like if you take an image and you focus on the critical 1/3 and then cut it down by a third again, shrink it by a third to a third of its size. You got something that's about 10% of the size and very focused on the semantically interesting part of what you have. So I think we can do something like that. But really, I just want to get thumbnails. All right, how much to stress my I don't know, graphic skills such as they are. All right, let's take a quick walkthrough. So I don't know if you're familiar with Elm. If you are, definitely speak up when I'm doing stuff. But one of the core things around using it with the web is they have what they call the Elm Architecture, capital TEA. And it's related to React. The idea is we're just going to define some critical functions. Okay, so we start off main. We give some sort of initial model. So everything's built around the model and the view, basically. So we have the model. Right now, the model is just a string. Okay, clearly inadequate. Let's get here's model is going to return HTML message. So in browser, oh, I didn't have a model there. Okay, sorry. View takes a model and returns the HTML and the message. Okay, so the message in our case, it's the activity of going to the next room. This is not as sophisticated as we need, but it's where we left off. All right, so the model says, okay, we're going to take the list of room names, okay, and if each one turns into a button, on click, go to increment and put the room name. So that's just forming the buttons. All right. And in the whole thing is presented inside a div with the image, which gets the image from the dungeon and the model, and then the list of buttons. So we build up the buttons here and then we use them here, corresponding to the image here and the buttons here. Okay, and this is what model the view always does. It just, you give me the model, I'll tell you the HTML for that model. A lot less issues around synchronization and that kind of thing. Okay. Now, if we want to update the system, we have this one. It takes a message and a model and produces a model. So you tell me the message, you tell me the current model, I'll tell you the new model. And between these, the Elm architecture deals with kind of maintaining what's the current model and all that stuff. And, what it does is it starts with init. Okay, we had those three things. Init, update, and view. Okay, so if you do an init, and then you've got an initial model, and you can call the view function. The architecture can call the view function, get something to display. The display has some interaction elements that will generate messages. And if a message comes in, you call update and say, here's the message, here's the model. What should the new model be? And right now you can see we've kind of cheated. We used to do +1, and now we just return the model itself. So those buttons aren't doing anything at this point. Okay. Now the other thing that's changed since last time, and maybe a change for the worse, I installed the mono font that JetBrains has. And one of the things it does is it has a lot of ligatures, 2-letter, 3-letter combinations that get displayed as a single letter. So just like FI and FINE, the F, the dot of the I is made part of the F. If you do a bar greater, you get a triangle like this. And you get an arrow like this for arrow greater or dash greater. And a few other changes. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't know Elm that much, pretty limited. So I'm never quite sure, I'll have to kind of like go in here and figure out how to do these things. Okay. But they'll look a little different. I mean, it's kind of a nice clean look. I'm okay with it. Okay. So we're conforming to the Elm architecture with this update and view methods and the init, and we've defined a message. So this is a pretty simplistic thing at this point. But one thing I notice already, okay, so our model is just a string, and the string is really a room name, which is used in this map. Okay, so a room takes an image and a list of neighboring rooms. All right, and this name is the room name that ties it all together. So what I'd like to do, I think room name is going to be my title for this type, but I want to say this is your current room, and it's a room name, and you don't get confused about what kind of string that is. All right. Now, let's see what else. I don't know the state of the world here, but normally we should be able to do Elm Live. Oh, no. No. I knew I was doing stuff over here. Well, let's do Elm version. Okay, Elm's installed. Elm Live. Isn't that the runner? I hope I'm not messed up. Let's see. So beginning Elm, that's probably okay. Well, let's just try Elm Live and see what we get. Oh, Elm Live is the other one. What is it? Reactor? Maybe that's the one I want. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, localhost 8000. That's kind of where we were here, I think. Yeah. Okay, localhost 8000. Go in source. We got main. Okay, we're back where we were. All right, the other thing we're doing is npx elm test minus watch. This should run our unit tests and then set up minus watch. Now, watch is, well, yeah, we'll see. I had Watchman installed, and that's the thing that's actually broken here, is trying to get all the dependencies for that. All right, so if we change the Elm files, this thing should trigger a test run. All right, so let's do that. We'll just start in room 2. Okay, and we'll do a save and see if we triggered. We have. Okay, so it's not a perfect system, but basically this thing is watching for any changes on those unit tests, and we'll run them when we save. Okay. Now, what that tells you is I need a README. Okay, and these things, okay, to run system, we did Elm Reactor, and then to start automatic test runner, npx elm test minus watch. Okay. Get us there faster next time. All right, I'm going to close that. Okay, so our to-do navigation, I guess we're still doing that. All right. Let's see, this with style, that's some stuff we put in to get a CSS style sheet attached. Okay. Elm Reactor is a little funny about it, so we had to do some research on that. But I think we're at a good state at this point. I mean, we're not doing everything we want, but I think we can do something. All right. So the thing I want to do, and in some ways, this is a bit of an experiment for me. Let me get this back opened. Source. Okay, we got dungeon. All right, so here's dungeon, and we've got room is this kind of record type. It's an image and a list of exits. And we've got the dungeon is a dictionary from string to room. All right, and I've been using type alias. I probably should figure out the real type. Typo on the first line. Oh, jeez. I don't know. Something is kind of, yeah. Why would that be my guess? What's wrong with the word game? Okay, but thank you. All right. So dungeon here. Let me pull this over here. Okay. The thing I want to do is I want to make a room name type, and I would like this to know that. This to know that type. And one of the claims for Elm is you do these things and you chase kind of the compiler telling you what's wrong. All right, so I'm going to say type alias room name equals string. This annoying thing. It's enough to make me want to give up Adam here. All right. So this type I want to use here. And I'm going to change it, and then a bunch of stuff's going to complain. Okay. Not Adam, but let's let me rearrange this. I'm going to put this to my left and the runner over here. Okay, so let's save and we run the test pass. Okay, I'm kind of surprised. Maybe that's the difference where I'm not understanding Elm type. Can I say this? So I think what's happened is because room name is really equivalent to string, everybody's allowed to just pass it around. Maybe this. Okay, list of strings and rooms creates a dungeon. So this really needs to be a room name. Okay. And I'm kind of hoping at some point something complains, but nothing is. The image goes from the string to a dungeon to a string. Well, I know this one is the image name. This should be a room name. Okay. This should be a room name. And you can see I should have been doing this all along. Well, all along is not that long of a time, but you can see it's already time to have it. We've got several things that have been talking about strings. Okay, so that, I mean, it's hard to know if I'm 36825. Yeah, there it's running. Okay. Oh, it's still doing the same seed. Interesting. Okay. Now, I would have thought somebody here, this should have been complaining in my mind. All right, so maybe I have to do a little research on Elm. Okay. This is not uncommon for me. All right. Let's try Elm type declaration. I don't know. Type aliases. Oh, I think I have. Yes, I have somebody's Elm cheat sheet. Okay. Type aliases is fine. I thought I could declare an actual type. Yeah, let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, so if instead of alias I say room equals string. Let's see if anything complains. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm the first argument to get in dungeon 26 room name. Dungeon 26. Okay, maybe with default room name get room dungeon. Well, I don't know where that get is coming from. Get room name dungeon. Well, that's dictionary get. Dictionary is a room name. Why is that not right? Get room name from dungeon. Dictionary from room name to room. Should return a list of strings. Oh, get needs the first argument to be comparable. I do not know how to compare room name values. I only compare lists and stuff like that. Okay. So I need... All right, let's figure out how to make a comparable type. Elm declare comparable type. float that. Okay. Can I become comparable? This seems, I mean, Okay, we certainly have the union types, but we're not using a union. We're just using an equivalent. Well, that wasn't so helpful. What I really want is the language reference. I don't think I get that. I don't think it's really an advanced topic. Ooh, that's not a good sentence. Comparable. Mere mortals are unable to make instances of comparable. Yikes. Okay, apparently it will not work. That's why we don't do it. All right, so let's go back to type alias. And we'll save. And I think we're not getting as much protection as I wanted, but we can fix it, I think. I think I can just say room name, room here. The difference is it's not enforced, which is really unfortunate. But that's maybe where it is. Room name. And my model, I'm going to say equals room name. See how that does. Okay. Well, it's an improvement. Not quite the improvement I wanted. Okay, now let's see where we can go from here. All right, so I've got the room. I pass in the model, and my view knows the dungeon. Okay, so that right now is just a constant. At some point, I think it belongs in the model, but we'll keep with what we have. Okay, so this image class main image source this. Okay, that puts it in there. Let's see our style sheet. I would kind of like to get these buttons in. Let's put them in a class equals navigation. Okay. So navigation. I think I want to make this similar. I don't need the width, but I think, let's see what this does. And I may have to, well, let's see what a reload does. No. Okay. That is not legal, huh? Wait a minute. Something's not consistent here. Tests run. Code does not. I can't declare a room name like that? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, All right, let's take it out if I can't do it. Okay. Now this is room 2, and this button is not functional. Unfortunately, it's not. It's also not doing what I want. Let's see. CSS navigation display block. I don't know if that's helping. All right, let's save this. Root reload. Sometimes you can force. I'm worried the CSS is not reloading. If I do option. reader. Where's reload? Oh, there it is. Shh. These two. Okay. All right, I'm gonna not let myself get too stuck on anything. So, let's see. I mean, I appear to have a div whose contents are a list of buttons, and I will be happy with that. All right, let's get navigation on the buttons again. All right, so room 1 button doesn't do anything. Let's make that active again. Okay, on click increment. Well, I don't want to increment. What I want to do is go to a room. Okay, so I'm going to say, well, let's see. What am I going to say? Basically, if you tell me the model is room 1 and you tell me go to room 2, the new model is room 2. And that sounds testable. All right, so let's see. The string module. That doesn't sound right. Let's call it the dungeon module. All right, unknown room returns. Okay, so that's really his dungeon test. Let's make a main test. We don't have one. I'm going to duplicate this. All right, and we'll make this main test. Import main. Exposing everything. Describe. Now, why did that not change? Okay. Have I not saved this? Okay, describe the dungeon module. Let's just do the suite. Let's call this just update. Okay. Now my test really is update goes to right room. Okay, so I'm gonna make, what am I gonna make? Well, update takes a message and a model. Okay, so my message is my new message. All right, so if I take main, these are kind of kind of a global space thing, aren't they? All right, let's just try calling update. If we call update, message is go to room 2, and the model is room 1, we expect it, the result is the model. We expect it to become room 2. Okay, and I think I'll just comment out these two. And actually, I'll just comment this one for now. Okay. Unknown room. Well, How do I keep losing text here? Update. Let's save that. Okay, how are we doing? Go to. All right, we got a message that isn't existing. Okay, so let's go to main. I want a new message that is go to new room, which is type room name. Okay. And now if I build, I should get a complaint that this case statement doesn't cover all the cases. Okay, case does not have branches for all possibilities. All right. So, and I don't know, go to, I guess we'll follow the naming convention here. Go to new room goes to model. Well, the model is new room. Okay, so you're in an old room and you're told to go to the new room. The new model, the new current room is now new room. Okay. Let's make it model instead. Let's see it run red and actually run. Cannot find a go-to variant. Make failed. Oh, my test is out of sync. It should be go to. I'll save this. Okay. And how are we doing? Okay, go to room 1, expected room 1 to equal room 2. Okay, so my main, this should really be new room. Yes, okay. And it should actually change rooms. Oh, if I resize, no. Oh, we didn't link it up. Okay. Yes, if you tell it to go to new room, it does, but on click does not say increment. Okay. I don't know if I want to fight through the testing on the UI pieces. I mean, they're not exactly. Let's just try it. Go to room name. Oops. Missing parentheses, I guess. Okay, the test pass. Let's see this. Run. Ooh. Room 2, room 1, room 3. Goes there. Room 1, room 3. Slow, but it gets there. I don't know why it's slow like that. Let's take a look at the source. I don't know if we can make anything out of it. It gets a little bit compiled. Well, I don't find room anywhere either. That is weird. Do I find image? How about IMG? Oh, I made that Elm. I don't know. Well, there's a click. Now something's weird because IMG is right there. Okay. room. There we go. 2. Okay, room 3. That's all that. We're not seeing the actual stuff here. Okay, I don't know. But navigation's navigating. Okay, so that's a good thing. Let's... Yeah, I guess image took some time to load. Maybe so. I mean, it seems a little more... Well, no, it's still... Compared to room 1, just bang right to it. Room 3, pause a second. It may be the image is... I haven't gone through the images to make sure their quality is right. The other thing... Room 3... I mean, room 1... No, I was going to say they're similar, but the shapes are not similar. Okay, so I don't know what's going on there. But I think right now we're navigating through the rooms as we expect to navigate. So I'm happy about that. Let me check this in. Okay, so how are we doing over here? All right. Are we... Git? Okay. User local bin git, no such file directory. Oh, something's goofy. I mean, I have a git here. User local bin git, no such file directory. And it's like a path issue, isn't it? Git is user bin git. Okay, I don't know what's up over there, but I'll take this. Okay, add those. Make sure that works. Okay, cool. All right, we've been going a while. Let's go ahead and take a break. Yeah, you're right. It's got to be the path. I don't know why that one folder's messed up, but probably something to do with that massive brew change I put in. But anyway, let's take a break. Just 2 or 3 minutes. We'll come back. I think we'll get rid of these increment decrements. They were sort of version 1 of the room stuff. Basically for the model, the update, we have to have model messages that correspond to every action of the system. So right now, the only action you have is to move from room to room, but we can move forward from here. So 2 or 3 minutes. See ya. All right, welcome back. Let's see. So I think it looks like Watchman's sort of working again. So let me try updating this and see if that actually does. So well, my dating is off, but I think this is, well, I have it in here. Oh, I lost, keynote, yeah. Episode 3. This was episode 2. The 10th, 12th would be the 5th. Okay, so one thing we did was added a room name type alias. And then we've got navigation through the dungeon. Okay. And what we're going to do now, we'll clean up the message type. Yes, good. All right, something working better. Okay, so our message type, right now nobody calls increment or decrement. All right, I'll leave the structure like this just because that type is only going to grow. But yeah, I think that's okay. Whoop. Hey, I'm new here. Can you tell me what you use? Mostly, I just wanted to try it out. I wanted to do this project, have it on the web, and I played with Elm a few times with not pushing through much of a project. I did a couple of music projects, but never really finished them. So I just thought I'd give it a shot with Elm. Somebody else might choose to do a lot of it in JavaScript. I didn't want to have a back end, so it's like, well, nice to have a relatively clean language to write the logic in. So yeah. Okay, let's get the testing going again. All right. Okay, so we've eliminated the model, the message stuff. All right. Okay, so with this thing, we're getting real now. So let's make some actual kind of stories. Okay, so one thing is I'd like to have text descriptions for each room. Okay. How about show text description when you enter a room? Okay, so that's one thing I want. There's supposed to be a little bit of a description there. Okay. We've got the rooms. I don't know. Maybe I should just jump into a puzzle right away. So let's see. We're trying to see if I have a good place to show files. I guess I'll pop open a Finder window. All right. So desktop, Twitch. Navigate down to the DNB folder. Whoops. This one. Okay. Yeah, so we have a bunch of files. Have I lost the original? I ended up rebooting or something. I need to tell myself where these things are, but I can probably find this file name. Let's see. Name 1B. Okay. Let's search in Finder. Okay, so as you can see, I have bunches of these things because it's just sort of evolved over years and then got ignored for years. Okay, the second one's 2004. That's probably accurate. Well, that sounds like a good folder. let's go here. Okay, so oops, 03. Let's find the pattern guide. Let's try this one. I think that's opening. Well, what I envision is you get a picture, and then maybe on the right you get a description of the thing. All right, and then some actions down here that you can do. You can talk to this person, ask them a question, and stuff like that. Is Word trying to open? Yeah. Okay, so you can have discussions, and then you can try and solve it, or you can navigate to another room. And what I see happening is I expect to grow my room description. Okay, I don't know what this is. So where's room? Right now it's defined in Elm. Okay, so this, really this is going to be some sort of like JSON document or something. So I'm just kind of sampling here, but a room knows the main picture. It knows its neighbors. Some of these neighbors are going to be secret passages, so it needs to know those separately. The visitor, the model, it needs to know the room you're in, and it kind of needs to know where you've been. Because we don't want to show the picture for a room you haven't visited yet. And maybe that's a thing I could do. I could put the buttons, instead of being text, I could make those images correspond. Let's see. So this is saying map each exit. Gives me a list of room name. Exits give me a list of room names. So I take each room, I turn it into that. But I could also call dungeon. I could also call something that would give me the picture for a given room. All right, let's see. Is the Word trying to open still? Goodness. Okay. Yeah, so pattern guide. All right, let's skip the mechanics. Okay, so we got this room. This room has a box in it. The box says, say my name. All right, and I'm sure there's better better descriptions, but that's what we got. All right, so what I want to do is I want each room to have a description, and I want that to show up. Okay, so let's make that happen. We got dungeon test. All right. What is going on? I've messed up something, haven't I? Okay, this is dungeon, and this test says if you how about unknown room shows unknown image. Again, I think that's the name. I was editing the wrong file for a while there. This seems okay. All right, let's check that. Oops. Okay. All right, so dungeon, unknown room, room knows. I'm going to move this unknown room stuff up. So I think describing unknown things. Okay, room knows its image. I'd like to say a room knows its description. Interesting feeling. Okay, lambda nothing goes to I feel like this should be indented 1. I don't know why it's not here. Okay, so if you look up a room and the list is room, and the room contains an image, name, and I think it should have a description. And a list of rooms. All right, if you ask me that, I expect to get, if you ask for image room. Feels like a weird way to say it, but okay. If I ask for description of a room, I expect that should be equal to its description. All right. Now, I expect a lot of stuff to break here. Well, this is going to say, I don't know how to put 3 arguments in. Okay. And I don't know how to spell description. Description. Okay, but did it complain? Twice, I don't know how to spell it. Actually, my I key is getting a little flaky. All right, I don't know that function. I don't know how to build one of these things. Okay, so let's go in dungeon. All right, we have image exits. I want to make a description. A room name and a dungeon goes to a string. And this string kind of is a string. All right, and the whole trick here is this stuff. Okay, so maybe with default, room unknown image, unknown room, this, get room name dungeon, and then I'm going to take the description field. All right, I mean, that's all, well, really, maybe I should just return junk first. Okay. Junk. All right, now I want somebody to start complaining about extra fields somewhere. I'm expecting that. Okay. Type annotation appears above the relevant definition. Oh. Right. Description room name dungeon equals. Okay, second argument to room is not what I expect. I expected a list, but I got a string. All right, too many arguments. And that's because I want to make my dungeon contain a description of type string. Whoops, this thing was a string as well. Okay. That may be, image name may be more important there, but all right. That should be okay. I think our main is going to have some issues. Okay. This function cannot handle the argument sent through the pipe. Exits. Right. So all our tests only have 2 arguments. All right. Let's fix those. Okay. And from list, and we can make an empty description. From list, let's put another empty description in. Room image name description. I'll abbreviate a little bit. Okay, now this file should be okay, but the other main is not. All right, dungeon.elm, line 34. Line 34. Well, what do we got here? Dungeon from list, room, image name, description, braces. Dungeon name from list. This should be dungeon.fromList. Let's check that one out. From list, a list of room names and rooms, produce that. Okay, so I think I'm confusing myself. A list of room names. From list, oh, an empty list of rooms. That should be fine. That should be fine. From list, this room, room image name description brackets, room image name description brackets. Okay, that seems okay to me. Now, the function cannot handle the call. Maybe with default, room unknown image. Oops, that looks wrong. Oh, that's the implementation. Room unknown image. This is really I don't know. We gotta say what it is. It's more junk. And this is more junk. More junk too. Okay, so my rooms have to have 3 arguments. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Main, our rooms do not have 3 arguments. Okay. So where's main? And I guess this is what they're talking about. I've changed the type, and then if I'm strict enough about types, everybody's complaining. Okay. So the prototype, the description was, do I still have it? No. It was in that Word document. Okay, this stuff. It's going to be annoying. Annoyingly long. All right, but we'll deal with it for now. Okay. And what's the other line they complained about? Main Elm 57. 57. Okay. Yeah, these ones. Proxy and hotel. Where's my word? Okay. Hotel. I'm going to switch to these bendy quotes. Okay. We got any more rooms? Maybe with default. Well, I don't think so, but okay. I got to the end of the line without seeing the closing double quotes. You would allow me. All right, now we're running tests and getting junk. That's what we expect. So we had to go through a fair bit to get the types worked out, but I think we've got things in the right places now. So it expected description, it got junk. Dungeon test. And I'm just going to pull this over to. Okay, X knows its description, so description of a room. We hard-coded junk. All right, maybe with default unknown room, get room description. Okay, I think that should pass. Yep. All right, now let's do the unknown room. Unknown room returns empty list of exits. Okay, let's squeak it in here. Okay, so I'd like it to say that. Unknown room. Now this one doesn't matter. All right, it should be passing, right? Cool. All right, let's clean up a little. So one thing is these default rooms, it ought to just be a constant. So let's this one's probably the more accurate. Room, unknown image, you're stuck in a mysterious room. Okay. Now this should be default room. It's so fast, I can't tell. Maybe I should just pull this window over. I don't want to cover up your comments. Oh, hey. Yeah, so it's a role-playing game made with Elm. At some point, I'll publish it on the web and see how it goes. Okay. Let's get this. Okay, so I just want to be able to watch this thing. I don't think I need a whole lot of space for that. Okay, so I think we've got all name stuff going on here, or dungeon stuff going on, room stuff. How far away? We're a bit away. So let's see if we can run it still. We should be able to. At this point, oops, let's close that. You're able to bounce between rooms based on these buttons. We haven't styled them yet. They're gonna have images at some point, but it's a starting point. The theory is we're gonna give puzzles about design patterns. So there'll be a little section where you try the puzzle out, a section where you answer things, and then this navigation stuff. All right. So what we've got is we have, let's see, how can I? All right. We have the main does not show the description. We would like it to. So in here, and I haven't been testing this model code, and I don't know, maybe I should be. It's certainly growing. All right, but anyway, our division outer one is displaying the image, and I'd like to get the text description in there as well. Okay, so let's get a comma here, and I think it's just text. No, I'm blinking out on this HTML. Let's find our documentation. It's over here. Yes, I'd like to get to HTML. You're not going to have it. Okay. Can I go back up here? No. I'm willing to packages. Can I do that? Okay, HTML. Text. Okay. Oh, just take some string. Okay, yeah, that's easy enough. So what do we want? We want I guess we want the description. I'm trying to think where my actual dungeon is. I guess it's just dungeon. Description, we need a room name, which is the model, and then the dungeon. Okay, I think that's all we need. Let's back here. Reload. Okay, something's happening. All right. I'm not going to worry about the fact that the font is ridiculous, but each room's got a description. Okay, and I want up here's had to look at that. Yeah, I mean it needs complete formatting. We're not going to worry about that at the moment. I'm just trying to get the logic right for now. But there's something wrong in here. Up here's. Okay. And our tests are happy. And let's fix this. Room 2, room 3. Okay. And I don't know if I have a space in there before R. No, I don't. Okay. Let's push this. I think we did that from here last time, so let's do that again. Okay. All right. Now we got, I don't know, 15 or 20 rooms total, so I don't think I'm going to keep this as a static, simple data structure like that, but that's okay. All right, let's get to our to-do. I'm not so great at keeping that up to date. Okay, so we show text description when you enter a room. I would like... All right, so right now, I mean, sort of thinking in terms of like a minimal projects. Let's see, my solo dev, yeah. Yeah, I'm just doing this on Twitch right now, Friday and Sundays, 1 to 3 Eastern. Okay, so I'm thinking in terms of like minimal product, could I use this to support my live version of the game? Like suppose I had a tablet or a laptop sitting there and let you navigate, and then my pattern master jumps in and says, here's what happens. Okay. You know, so it's useful in that sort of minimal sense. What I would like to do though is I'd like to get this room navigation. You shouldn't, their names don't mean anything. They're just handy labels for me. Room 1, room 2. Okay. I would like it to be that we keep track of not only what room you're in, but what rooms you've visited. And if we're showing you the buttons for the new rooms, if you've already been in that room, you should see an image, the image of what you know. And if you haven't, somewhere I made a lock image for secret rooms and a question mark image for unknown rooms. So if there's a door that you've never opened, then you need to, you shouldn't see what it is. Okay. So what I think this means is I need to track, I guess I need to track the visited rooms. Okay. And then I want to show, show picture buttons for visited rooms and question mark for unvisited rooms. Okay. And so instead of room 1, room 2, it's going to be little picture of the button, little picture of the desk clerk, whatever. Okay. And then a future story is sort of like show locks for secret doors. They're not really secret. They don't open until you answer the pattern question. Okay. And then at some point, I also want to I need to let you answer, like, what's the pattern? All right. So there's that bit, and then there should be some I'll call it dialogue activity or activities for pattern puzzles. Okay, so I think that's a good setup for what's next. So I think we'll get this visited rooms concept built into our model. Okay, so the model, not just your current room, but we need to know the rooms you're visiting too. Okay, let's take another break, just 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll come back and expand the model. Hi, welcome back. All right, so our model's going to get more sophisticated. Instead of model being just a room name, we want the model to be the room name and the set of visited rooms. And it's going to keep growing because we're going to keep track of, like, which patterns have you solved and maybe more. Okay. I don't know. We need a good name for this. Like, what comes to my mind first is state, and that's probably not a good name. This is, maybe is it the history? The history's not right either. Well, maybe I'm going to go with state first. All right, let's try that for now. I certainly welcome your suggestions. All right, so I'm going to change this to that, and let's just make sure everything's still working. Whoops, that would be here, yes. Okay, now I can make state. All right, and state is starting to feel bigger. Let's pull state into its own file. All right, so we'll make a state file. If I could spell. And over here we'll put a state test. All right, state, let's pull this type in here. State equals room name. This thing needs to reference that. Okay. I see type. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to parse a declaration. Elm, one state test. Do I really have to have that first? Let me look. Module, something exposing. Weird declaration state test Elm. When a line has no spaces at the beginning. I expect a declaration line. Oh, state test is pretty bad, yeah. I will grant you that one. Okay. Let's collect these anyway. Module, whoops, state test. State test line 8. State test line 8. Well, I certainly haven't put a test in there. All right. That test is meaningless, but it's there. Okay. What do we got? We got our state, room name. Well, that's not going to suffice. We need to do more like this. It's gonna be some stuff. And I'm going to take the alias off and see how we do. All right, so I need a room. Well, I need a state. Okay, so the state should be, let's try type state equals, and then what is state? Well, it's the current room of type a room name. And it's a visited of type. And do I have set? I do. Must be a comparable. Okay. Well, that's also a set of room names. Okay. And we should see some consequences now. Like, everybody's going to start going like, hey, this is completely messed up. Okay, I'm partway through a current type. I was expecting to see a variant name. Well, maybe I'm misunderstanding. If type is really only for unions, type alias state. Okay, I need to import set. Okay, the first argument to exits is not what I expect. The model is value, but exit needs a room name. Okay, and value is really state. Okay, so where is this? Main.elm. All right, we're backed up there already. Okay, so let's see, line 90. Okay, so we're trying to get the list of exits from the model. And this is really well, it's model.current room. So let's think about what we want there. So how about state knows the current room? So if you call state with how do we initialize that? Well, dungeon from list is because it's a maybe I need a from as well. If you take from current and is it this? And you ask it for the current room. We expect it to be current, I guess. Does that make sense? Okay, so it knows the current room. If you ask state current room, it should get it. All right, so we don't have a function for that. We don't have a from. Everybody's unhappy. Okay. Well, from seems promising. Okay, from is going to take yeah, I guess we're just going to give a state back. Okay. It's going to take a room name and a set of room name, and it's going to give you a state. All right, and then from room name, visited rooms equals. Okay, I think you can say state. Is it like this? State call produces set of room name goes to state. I don't know how I want to say this. Elm constructor. Oh, so I can just do it directly. All right, maybe I don't need to do this then. Let's get back to our test. Let's just do state current that. I'm not, oops. Okay, we're back to our model. State test. I can't find a current room variable. Well, I think I can just say dot current room. Okay, I need a state constructor. I'm guessing set has from list. It's, well, singleton. Yeah, from list. So create a list and put it in there. Okay. This should be a set. That. Okay. I cannot find a set. Oh, from list. Okay, I think I've got that part all right. So a test knows its state. You create a new state with an empty list and a current room, and you ask it, what's your current room? It should give you back current. Okay, now main, it's assuming, well, it needs to be a set. No, it needs to be a state. A room to and set out from list. And so we're starting off empty. All right, we haven't visited anything yet. It probably should be room 2 actually. Okay. So, and actually I would like us to start in 1. Okay, so you're in room 1. The only room you visited is room 1. That hangs together to me. All right, now there should be some complaints. Oh, we don't have set. All right, dungeon.exits is not what I expect. All right, dungeon.exits. Okay, that's this. The model now, we can't it's expecting a room. So we need to do model. We need to do .current room from the model. .96, similar problem. Okay, is everybody gonna first branch of the case? Okay, yes, the model. Okay, now, well, all right. Let's make it a wrong answer. Okay, so the wrong answer is state new room and the empty list. Okay, well, I'll even make it more clear. It's not the empty list, it's the should have added. Okay, just some junk to get us through. All right, we're type mismatch. Main test, line 20. Expecting a model. Okay, so main test, line 20. I was expecting the model. Update takes, the go-to takes a message. Update takes a message and a model. The message is fine, but the model needs to be a state nowadays. Okay, and this is set dot from list nothing. Okay, so the update function needs to take a model. If you tell me to go to room 2, I expect update to give me an answer. Okay. It expects a state, room 2, and then, well, I'm going to make it real. It should get if you go to room 2, you should be in room 1 and 2 at that point. Sorry, if you are in room 1, you go to room 2, you should be room 1 and room 2. Okay. Save, and it's close. Parentheses probably. Update go to. Probably the same deal here. Oh, okay. I cannot find a state variant because I don't have state. And set. All right, we got some results finally. Certainly updating the room goes to is off. Updated go to room goes there. Oh, I was just there. Okay. Yeah, all right. So we say if you are in room 1, and yeah, really your list should be that. If you're in room 1, the only room you visited is room 1, you go to room 2, you should now have the full list. All right, let's make sure that still fails. Okay. We got should have added instead of room 1, room 2. All right, so that little breadcrumb we left. Okay, so this should be, well, we need to take, we got to do some work. We got to take model dot, well, whoops, let's take dot visited of model. Let's take a look at that documentation for set again. I think I can just insert. I assume it gives me back a new set. I think everything is read-only, immutable. Insert comparable into a set gives me a new set. Okay. So we want to insert a value. Yes. Okay. New room into dot visited of model. So visited of model should give us the set of nodes we've already visited, and now we're saying if you go to a new room, you should add that to the set. Let's check our parens, visited model, bracket. Insert, okay, new room and visited model. And that's the insert. Okay, let's see how that does. I cannot find insert. Well, that's a state operation, a set operation. Let's add it. Okay, cool. Let me add I just see my view getting more and more complicated, and maybe I should be testing the pieces at least, maybe? I don't know. The button text room name. All right, let's make sure tests are good. I think that's okay. And now let's go over and see what's going on over here. I have to reload this. Okay. Starting in room 1 now. We got room 2, room 1, room 3, room 1. Okay, so we've not lost any functionality. We need to take into account the visited. For now, I think if I would just say unknown, that would be a step forward. All right. So instead of text room name, okay, I'm going to put a helper. navigation button name. And I think you're going to give me the model. Goes to a string. Okay, so navigation button name of model equals, okay. Let's take dot current room of model. All right, so that's my room name. Where is that coming from? Oh, it's coming in here. Give the dungeon exits. No, I kind of need more, don't I? I need to know. I need the room name too. If you give me the model, or which comes first? Let's take model and room name. So I'm trying to make this more of a refactoring. All right. So text room name. If I gave text, this navigation buttons if I gave it the model and the room name, I expect the behavior to be the same. Oh. Expected a closing square bracket before this. I can't. 1, 2. That's that one. Still have 2 open and 2 closed. All right, let's put it back a moment. All right, now my refactoring, supposedly. I'm going to give you navigation button name. I'm just getting the text back for this, so I expect this to be navigation button name of room name and model. Okay, so navigation button model on room name just returns room name. That seems okay, but it didn't like it last time. Okay, I guess it's okay. All right, so this should be unchanged. Room 2, room 1, yeah. All right. Now, can I test this. The string I'm getting back is what? It's the room name. It's not really what I want. I'm trying to work out in my head how to test or whatever. So this will be a stopping place, I guess. The tests are passing, but we want to deal with navigation name. So track visited rooms, I think we've done that. Show picture buttons. Let's get an initial phase. Navigation button name should look at visited to decide room name. All right. I think that's a reasonable place for us to pick up. And that'll be this Sunday, a couple days from now, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope I catch you in the future. Take care. Bye-bye.